Hello, welcome to Political Circle on Signature Television. Today, we are zooming in on a reality that touches every Nigerian. Prices of essential goods and services are rising with the speed of light. Incomes are shrinking, and survival has become a daily hustle. This has become a major concern to the people. It has led to a decline in purchasing power and struggle for many Nigerians to afford basic necessities. Households are in trouble, and governments say they are on top of their game, but their impacts are not felt by the people. In the words of Senator Dino Melaye, Nigerians now visit garbage centers to look for crumbs and food. The question is, what is driving this economic pressure? Is it inflation, poor policy choices, or global influence? Or are we simply caught in a circle we can't seem to break from? Which way, Nigeria? This is our focus on Political Circle today. Our topic is State of the Economy, Cost of Living in Nigeria. My name is Luke Mbo. Joining us this morning is a legal practitioner and a seasoned political analyst who will be here to decode the numbers behind the struggle, the politics behind the policies, and what hope, if any, lies ahead for the common man in Nigeria. Barrister Wabezu, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, our viewers.
My brother, you heard Senator Dino Melaye. He said Nigerians are now visiting garbage centers for crumbs and food. How true is this?
Dino Melaye has been a very controversial man in Nigeria, a good politician, but also to a great extent, a man that always pictures Nigeria as it is. The problem is that a lot of persons in this country always want to paint words, but Dino does not. He states it as it is, and that is what we need in Nigeria currently. We need people that will say things as they are so that Nigeria can move forward. The continued retrogression of this country is directly linked to the inability of Nigerians to tell themselves the truth and to tell their leaders the truth. What Dino said is very correct, that Nigerians now visit the garbage heaps in order to find food. Move around the towns, move around the cities of this country, especially in the north. It's become the order of the day. But the problem, honestly, is that the government appear to be helpless. The government appear to have no idea of what to do. The government appear to be unable to provide a solution to a very important problem, a problem that may spill to social unrest, a problem that may get to a level that nobody would want ever to come to this country.
Well, let's make a direct analysis so that our viewers will understand what we're saying. For instance, using a professor in Nigeria as a case study. We know a professor receives what I will call one of the best salaries in this country, because it's one of the most, it's in fact the highest when you come to intellectualism. These are the people that come up with policies, theories, hypotheses that will help us grow. Using a professor's salary as our case study, how can he transport himself to the office, pay rent if he's not accommodated in the university, buy food, pay school fees and all that. Let's not talk about the average common man. That's why I want us to use the professor as an example.
You see, if you look at the universities, which is the citadel of learning, not only in Nigeria, but in every country of the world, I am told, my wife said that a lecturer in the university told her, she has a doctorate degree, informed her that her salary monthly is 200,000 naira. Now, for a lecturer to have a salary of 200,000, I'm not sure how much a professor earns, but I am very sure it's not up to 1 million naira in a month. Just the other day, I know that judges of this country were earning something hovering around 500,000. It's just recently that the president signed an instrument that raised their salary above, that took their salary into millions. But of course, like I said, the professors are still underpaid. The lecturers are underpaid. Almost every government employee in this country is underpaid. And the situation continues to get worse by the day. Because if you look at their salary in 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, there have been increases in their salary. But then the value in real terms, the value in terms of purchasing power has been declining considerably, very fast. That is why corruption, bribery is becoming official in Nigeria. It's becoming the order of the day. Some months ago, for you to make a report in a police station in Enugu, in most towns in Nigeria, the police will demand that you pay money before your report can be taken in a police station. The same thing with everywhere. It's only recently with the current commissioner of police. He has cleaned the state police force so that if you walk into any police station to make a report, they'll take your report. They will begin to act on it.
Now, what I'm trying to find out is, like I tried to use a professor, if he's paid 500,000, how much is for fuel? How much is for school fees? How much is for food? And by the time we sum it up, we know whether it will be enough.
I want to be very frank with you that, okay, let me even take myself as an example. If I move into a police station, buy fuel 80,000, usually that's what I buy, it doesn't fill my tank. Because if I want to fill my tank, I'll be talking of 100 plus. My wife takes about 50,000. You're already counting about 130. Yes. And this fuel will not last. Assuming we don't go out of town, it won't last for more than 2 weeks. It won't even last. What is 2 weeks? What am I saying? About a week if we don't go out of town. Now, assuming I quantify what I spend on fuel alone for 1 month, that will be giving me over 400,000 naira for 1 month only. Fuel. And I am choosing it for commercial purposes, just to go to the office, go to court, do few little things. Now, you now check a professor in the university. Remember, he's not a mere lecturer. He's not even a senior lecturer, let alone a reader. He has gotten to the high echelon of the academic ladder. He's supposed to be very, very comfortable, so that he is not supposed to be thinking about what to do, how to make money,
how to make ends meet.
how to make ends meet. He's not supposed to think about it.
No.
It should be given. Now, but he spends his time thinking about it. Instead of concentrating on research, concentrating on writing books, concentrating on how education can be made better in his faculty, in his department. The issue now in this country, everybody now concerns himself with how to live, how to survive, how to eat first and foremost. In such a situation, how would anybody now have time to think of how to improve anything in this country?
Now, what could be the cause? Is it bad policies?
There are a lot of causes.
Okay.
But all the causes hold into bad policy. Because it is bad policy that jacked up the value of the currency from 450 officially, 450 naira per dollar, officially in 2023, before May 29, to 1,600 currently. That's the unified value of the naira. It's now around 1,600 naira per dollar. From 460 naira officially in 2023 before May 29. That's of course bad policy. It's also bad policy that jacked up food prices from about 50 or 60, from about, I'm not sure, it was up to 40,000 by 2023 before May 29. By December last year, we bought rice for over 100,000 naira per bag. And yet a civil servant. A civil servant is now said to be paid 70,000. I don't know, many of the states may not even be paying it.
Subsidy.
Now, it is
subsidy anywhere around it.
Yes. Now, it is bad policy that also makes the government incapable of making plans before removing petrol subsidy. So before May 29, petrol was hovering around 160, 140 naira per liter. Before May 29, 2023. After about 2-3 months, fuel became 1,200 naira per liter. So it altered everything in this country. Everything. It affected healthcare. It affected food prices. It affected accommodation. Every single thing. If the government had known its onions, the government would have planned to cushion the effect of that increase. If they felt that that increase was indispensable. That is, the removal of that so-called fuel subsidy. Because a lot of people still insist that there was never fuel subsidy in this country. If the government felt that this was important, they should have found a cushioning effect. How do you move food from the hinterland to the urban centers where they are consumed without the removal of the so-called fuel subsidy impacting on that movement? How do you make the hoi polloi, the dregs of the earth, how do you make them to move from their houses to their workplaces, from their houses to the market? Those little local runs, how do you make it possible for them to engage in it without being impacted by the removal in the so-called fuel subsidy? How do you ensure that medical supplies move without being impacted by that? If you have a responsive government That government must ensure that these things are taken into consideration before you lift the lid on fuel subsidy. You ensure that these things are done. Again, now, to show you that it is policy, you removed you unified the dollar, because whatever happens in this country in terms of prices of everything has a great bearing on the international currency, which is the dollar. It has a great bearing on the value of the dollar in Nigeria. The reason is because most of what we do in Nigeria are import dependent. Food, import dependent. Everything, this table, import dependent. This seat I'm sitting on, import. The pen you hold, every single thing, because Nigeria produces nothing. Now, since you are aware that this is the position of the country, of your economy, then you must ensure that dollar, that everything is done to see that the dollar does not skyrocket beyond reach. Otherwise, you don't need to be told that your country will be in trouble. You do not act before you think. You must think before you act.
I think I like that. Think before you act. There's something I don't know if we're omitting. What about corruption? Has there any role?
Corruption certainly has played a great role in this entire scenario. But, like I said earlier, it's still bad policy that caused corruption. How much is the policeman paid? The lowest paid policeman, I do not know how much they earn, but I'm certain it may not be over 100,000. 100,000 naira for a man that has family. His wife may be unemployed. Probably his wife may be engaged in petty trading. He has a family to maintain. 3, 4, 5 children. They eat, they go to school, they clothe, then they must live in a house. This poor policeman may not have gotten accommodation from the police. He may now have to find accommodation in town. He has not built any. He has to pay for it. No landlord will give him preferential treatment because he's a policeman. He must pay what others are paying.
Of course.
And accommodation, my goodness, is something that you don't even talk about. Not only can you not talk about it now, the rate of increase in rents around this country are not just astronomical, but they are incomprehensible. Now, for this same policeman, you expect him, after earning probably 100,000 in a month, he will just be doing, and even with the 100,000 that he earns, there is a lot that he has to do in the office that are not provided for. Like, if you need to be, you are in writer 1, you are the writer 1, CRO 1. You are behind the counter taking notes. When that register finishes, you have to go and buy. Nobody gives you money to do so. When your pen finishes, you have to go and buy. Nobody gives you pen.
And the result is what?
The result is corruption. That's why I said it's not possible. Now, let me leave the policeman. Go to various offices. You see how much the man is paid, 70,000 probably. Or if you add, if there are things to be added, let's assume it's 100,000.
Yes.
Now, with 100,000 naira, for somebody that has a bill of, when you check everything,
School fees,
feeding,
feeding,
accommodation,
transportation,
feeding, transportation, clothing, everything.
healthcare.
Let's assume that the bill he must meet in a month is 400, 500,000 naira. He earns 100,000. There must be a way of getting, because nature abhors a vacuum. There must be a way of him meeting up to
With his
that
needs.
need. From 100,000 that he's been paid, there's a balance of 400,000. How does he meet it? He must meet it. It's impossible for him to shirk his responsibility. It's impossible for him to deny his children food. He can't. Otherwise, he will not only be a very wicked father, but he will be an incompetent father. He cannot deny his children of cloth. They must wear clothes, no matter how cheap. Once in a while, their clothes must need to be changed. They must, if any of them has malaria, you can't fold your arms and be watching him die. Malaria is said to be the highest killer disease in Africa. You can't fold your arms and watch your child die of malaria, which, because of, again, wrong policies of government, there's mosquito everywhere in Nigeria.
So he has no choice but to get involved
to be
in
corrupt.
Now, let's
whether he likes
leave
it or not.
corruption alone, so that corruption will leave us someday. Now, let's go to international economic meltdown, global economic meltdown. Does it have any role in our problems in the country today?
I want to be frank with you that to some extent, yes, but to a great extent, no. To some extent, because there are some places where you may be importing things from because of probably the war that is ravaging the developed world. You may no longer be able to import those things. Again, because of what you also, because in UK now, food has become some form of problem in United Kingdom, because a lot actually is going on, not only in UK, but around the world. But then, for a country that produces most of what the country needs, they will have no need for any international market. For the ones you consume, you should be talking of international market for the ones you export. So, if the policies of government...
the reverse is the case. Nigeria don't produce anything.
That's what I'm saying. That if the Nigerian government has very good policies, by now we should have no business importing food from any country. This country is blessed with green vegetation. Look at the entire south. Forest everywhere, showing you that food will grow very well. These things can be converted into farmlands, and food will grow very, very well. We should not only be feeding Nigeria comfortably, we should even be priding ourselves as feeding the entire Africa, because we have the capacity to do so. We have the land, the crops are there, we have the human beings that will do it. And the human beings are also willing to do it.
But our former president, late General Buhari, said that our youths are lazy. Are we actually lazy?
Oh, God forbid. The man should, if there's any way for him to pay, he should be made to pay for that sentence. Because I think that he was a man that was lazy, not the youths of this country. He was irresponsive as a president. He was irresponsible as a man. Because that is even the major cause of skyrocketing food prices in Nigeria. It's because of the then president, Muhammadu Buhari. Where farmers, it was from his time as president that women became afraid to go to the farms. Farmers no longer wanted to go to the farms, because if you go to the farm, the women mostly are the people that farm in Nigeria. If they go to the farm, the nomadic herdsmen will rape them and kill them.
Well, let's leave that. The Tinubu administration say they are on top of their game. To what extent are their impacting on the people?
They are not at the top of their game at all. I think, to borrow the words of Olusegun Obasanjo, the man that has been steadfast in this country, one of the best presidents Nigeria has had. To borrow his words, he said, he was talking about, somebody asked him about Buhari. He said he left about Buhari and now asked the question, what of the man that came into government without having an idea of what he wanted to do, of what he's coming into government to do? The present government needs, let me just say that they need to become responsive. They need to sit down and they really ask themselves, what if they leave? What are they going to say that they did?
What advice can you give the present administration?
The advice I'll give to the president of this country is that he needs to look at the three major things that has caused the prices, the skyrocketing prices of food items, because you must start from food before you get to accommodation, you get to every other thing. Those things, the devaluation of the naira, the removal of fuel subsidy, he has to do things. I'm not saying he should return fuel subsidy, but let him cushion the effect. Let him do it very fast. Let me even tell you, there's also this currently, yes. If you look at rice, for instance, rice was banned, and the farmers were running back to the farms. And all you needed was time for the prices of rice to come down. He has now removed the ban on rice, on food importation generally, so that the prices of rice now came down below what the farmers produce. That is below the cost of production for the farmers. All the farmers ran away from it. So what is going to be the long-term effect? He's not looking at that. He's looking at 2027 election.
Thank you very much, Barrister Nwabezo.
Thank you, sir.
That's our show today. We thank you for being part of the show. Join us again for Political Circle. My name is Luke Mbo, and I've been talking with Barrister Nwabezo. Thanks for being part of the show.